Who is keeping Seattle streets safe? Nobody. Here's the headline. Here's the best headline I found for today's story. Deranged Seattle career criminal who stabbed an elderly woman in the eye with a nail. It wasn't a nail. It was a bolt. Blinding her, identifies as transgender. What? You got to see some of this footage. You got to see the police officer's reaction when they identify who this guy, gal, they, them, she, him, her, theirs. Yeah, you got to watch it. Here we go. I sent Jeremy Harris a text about this over this past weekend. He's like, you got to cover this one. This is just absolutely insane. And it is. And it just keeps going. All right, now he's a tranny. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, but there's no correlation between mental instability, the whole trans thing, and yeah, because you bring that up and people just jump on you. Oh, yeah, no, nothing's been proven. Okay, all right, we'll ignore that, but I want you to watch this story knowing that this dude is a trans. This guy is he's mentally insane, period. And I think he has enough cognitive ability to understand that if he identifies as trans in Seattle, maybe he gets off because it's been working for him. It's been working for him. Here we go.
Developing tonight, new video shows the shocking attack on an elderly woman standing outside the King County Courthouse. A man armed with a board that had a spike through it hit the 75-year-old woman in the face, blinding her. KOMO's Jeremy Harris spoke with the woman's family and uncovered disturbing details about the suspect's reputation for attacking people on 3rd Avenue in downtown Seattle. Jeremy?
Yeah, 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 came down here to pick up a food order in Pioneer Square when she was attacked. Now, I just got videos through a public records request that show what happened. We're going to pause the video before she's actually hit. But what really stood out to me was from police body camera video showing there were obvious warning signs about this suspect before the attack. It's just before noon on December 5th outside the King County Courthouse in Seattle. That's 75-year-old 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 standing on the corner, and police say this is 𝗨𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 walking up with a stick in his hand when out of nowhere he attacks her. 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 is knocked to the ground. Bystanders take a picture of the suspect, then rush to help 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏. The full scope of what happened wasn't clear yet. Police arrested 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗏 a block away and found the weapon, this wooden board with a screw.
Okay, so that's a bolt. It's got a ratchet head on top. It's got a washer, and it's got metal threads, another washer, and another bolt on the other end. So somebody drilled a hole, put this thing through, and then put a couple of pieces on either end. I don't know why. You know what I mean? And then we've got another nail kind of down here that we just tapped in. I would say this is something that this dude found. I don't think he created it Negan style, where you've got the baseball bat, where and that's a Walking Dead reference, where you've got the baseball bat with the barbed wire wrapped around it, and he beat Glenn to death with it. This isn't that, but it doesn't matter when you lose your eye, because you lost your eye, and this poor 75-year-old woman. I mean, what? You're literally outside the courthouse. Is nowhere sacred. Absolutely not. This area of Seattle has been bad forever, and it's not getting better. But let's keep going with the story. Wait till you hear what the cops have to say about this dudette, whatever.
Through the end of it, police say that screw went through 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏𝗏's eye.
Who is this guy?
He's a regular. He usually punches.
Okay. He's a regular. They know him. And he usually just physically assaults people with his fists. Like in Seattle, that's like, oh, okay, all right, oh, right. And he's, this guy is the trifecta of what is protected in Seattle. He's homeless, right? He is whacked out of his mind. You know, we're gonna go with a quadfecta. He's homeless. He's whacked out of his mind. He's clearly mentally ill. He's probably on drugs, probably an addict. I mean, who isn't that's walking the streets? And he's trans. This guy is protected in Seattle 10 ways from Sunday. That's why he's still walking around, because he usually just punches people. It's okay. He normally just punches people. Didn't recognize him with that big stick. And, what happened to that woman? Could you imagine having your mom come home from downtown Seattle or wherever? She got some food. Maybe she lives in the area. She got some food. And she loses her eyeball because some lunatic that everybody knows is a complete whack job is out there just literally taking baseball swings at people on the sidewalk for no discernible reason. Why aren't these people behind bars? Because of progressive ideology. Yeah. You don't want to involuntarily put people into treatment. Don't want to involuntarily put people into mental care facility where this guy clearly belongs. And you certainly don't want to keep him in jail. Everybody deserves 45 different tries. I mean, how many times has this guy already had charges brought up? And they know him. I normally just punches people. Oh, perfect. That's awesome.
Today, he decides to escalate things way worse than his usual.
Escalate things way worse than his usual. This guy is usually out just merely assaulting people with his fists, just beating them up, just punching people. He doesn't look like a small individual. And I say he because this is a dude. Anything else, you're completely delusional. This isn't a woman. This is just some guy who's a fleeting moment of clarity where he's like, I'm trans. They'll treat me better. I'm trans. I want to go in the women's prison. Yeah. What? Oh, okay. You identify? Okay, we'll send you there. Gets 3 women pregnant.
Where is he usually?
He's usually just up and down there.
As paramedics...
He's up and down 3rd Avenue. 3rd Avenue is the worst street in Seattle by far. It's got the Blade. Every single week, you'll come up with at least one story on 3rd Avenue that's just train wreck. Somebody getting assaulted, some bus driver getting assaulted, drug dealers going down, somebody getting popped, just shooting, murders, you name it, it happens on 3rd. You know what we do in Seattle? Big city crime. Yeah, there's got to have a certain element of forgiveness because, we got to allow these people to get out there and just, pop a 75-year-old woman in the face and tear out her eyeball. Because that's normal. Yeah. Imagine if this happened in Oklahoma. This guy'd already be hung up by a noose, right? He'd have one foot that's tippy-top, just keeping himself up, because they'd have him in a noose. All right, is the trial over yet? Yep, go ahead. Right? Insane.
Trace her to the hospital. It becomes obvious police know 𝗨𝗨𝗪𝗪 well.
You have the suspect's ID.
Yeah, suspect's ID. He's being searched right now. Yeah. You know him?
They just flat out know him. Guy's got big bushy hair. He's crazy. He's an absolute psycho, and he beats people up. He hits people for fun. That's what he does. And then, he's really escalated things here by ripping out this woman's eyeball. Perfect. That's just great.
Oh, he's notorious for random assaults on 3rd.
Court records show 𝗨𝗪𝗪 had multiple prior convictions for assault, including stabbing someone 8 times at a party.
Was that?
And it's not her responsibility to know what parts are good, what parts are she cannot walk there.
Andreas 𝗣𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗜 is Jeanette Markham's son.
How's your mother doing?
Right now, she's out of the 2nd surgery.
After several surgeries, she's been told she won't recover sight in her eye and may need even more reconstructive surgeries.
To take
I think she should sue the city of Seattle. They have liability. They let this monster out on the streets time and time again. She should sue them. Hey, I lost my eye. I could live another 20 years. I lost my eye. That's worth $25 million. I mean, that seem reasonable? How much is your eyeball worth? Right? How much is your eyeball worth? A lot. I like to see, right?
A wood club with nails and just, no, I'm going to hit her with all the force on her face. It's that's not someone you can recover or help. I don't honestly
Agreed.
I don't understand that.
Her attack is the latest act of horrific street violence near 3rd and James. A man was shoved into a door and killed just across the street, and earlier this year, 2 people were shot at the same intersection. There are multiple homeless and drug treatment centers on the block, and city and county leaders have pledged for years to clean up the area and make people feel safer. Jeanette's family says whatever's being done isn't enough to keep people like her safe.
Clearly. This is outside the courthouse, right? Middle of the day. It's not even nighttime. Not that that has any bearing on this at all. But this could have been anybody. And it's a 75-year-old woman. She's lucky she didn't, break a hip or something falling down, right? I mean, horrific. Instead, she just takes I'm sure she had a concussion. Her eye got hit with it's just horrible.
I want someone to at least say to my mom, hey, we're working on this. We're trying to fix this. Like, no, yeah, he's unusual. Like, usual what? Attacking people? Civilians? Like,
Correct.
What the hell is wrong with your system?
This is nothing new. This is normal. This is more normal than not. And you know what people want to do? Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that. Good Lord. Whacked her in the head, took out her eye with a stick, with a bolt through it, with the nut on the end with the washer. Really? And he's been out running around so often that cops know him on a first and last name basis. Let's let Jeremy finish out here.
𝗨𝗧𝗪𝗪 is being held in the King County Jail with a bail of $1 million, and he is scheduled to appear back in court for a competency hearing later this month. Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.
Jeremy, truly a horrific, unprovoked attack on this innocent woman. And she lost her eye because of this. I think a lot of people will watch your story and having heard that soundbite where they say this is an individual notorious for random attacks. What happened in those prior cases?
Oh, Mary, that's such a good question, and it's one that I'm also asking as well, because jail records show that police had him in and out of jail multiple times this year. In fact, 8 jail bookings, and only in one of those cases was I able to find that criminal charges were actually filed. So that's a question that we're going to be following up with prosecutors both at the county and the city for.
We're back to records, Kate of Washington versus
Public Defender Kevin Robinson was quick to bring up 𝗨𝗪𝗪𝗪's long history of mental incompetence this morning.
I have worked with Ms. Paya briefly before, and I've reviewed the history of contact that she's had with both mental health and
If I was an attorney, I would not be able to call this guy she. This is a dude. This is a dude hiding behind ideology, right? Big old dick and balls. Guaranteed. He's just, I'm going to identify as trans because, well, I've already got the homeless thing covered. I'm already in and out of mental acuity. I'm known as a violent offender on the streets of Seattle. Cops know me by first name. I'm addicted to some kind of drugs. I'm just, basically I need to be locked away. What's my get out of jail card? What's that? Oh, yeah. I'm trans. Oh, I mean, this guy they know how to beat the system and he is doing it. This guy needs to be locked up. I mean, before he kills somebody, right? I mean, this guy needs to be locked up and don't let him out because he's obviously whacked out of his mind. He's on drugs. And he's mental. He is deranged. I would never be able to say, oh, she. I'm like, no, that's a dude. That's a he. Sorry. Your delusion isn't going to impact me. That's a guy.
the system. There's a long history of findings of incompetence and the symptoms that have been noted before. I have observed personally today.
Although charging documents don't mention 𝗪𝗪𝗪's mental health, they show 𝗪𝗪𝗪's long history with the justice system. It reads, quote, the defendant has a prior conviction for assault in the second degree in 2011. Defendant also has misdemeanor convictions for assault in 2024, 4 times in 2023, and once in 2020. It also calls Friday's attack as violent violent, random, and wholly unjustified, one that left 75-year-old 𝗪𝗓𝗏 with broken face bones and a blind right eye.
A lottery, but it's not a positive lottery. It's an awful, horrible lottery.
In an exclusive interview with King 5, Mark and son described the confusion they've had to navigate since the attack.
How could this happen here? What is wrong? What is happening who is doing something wrong that this is happening?
𝗪𝗧𝗏𝗘𝗏 says,
Your political leadership believes in justice reform. They have a soft on-crime policy. They've defunded Seattle's police. We don't have enough cops. You've got layer after layer after layer of progressive policy is what has already been done wrong. Now, you've got leadership that has tried in bits and pieces to put things back the way they should be. But for the most part, the people of Seattle, this is what they are okay with. They're okay with a woman being whacked in the eye, taking out her eyesight by a nut job trans person. They're okay with that because they keep electing officials that go down this progressive road that allows these criminals to just run around society doing this kind of stuff. Otherwise, they'd be voting for officials who come down on judges that don't do their job. I mean, how many judges have given this guy a hall pass because he's homeless, he's mentally unstable, and you know what? We're not really addressing those folks at all. They're going to have to address this one because this guy's $1 million bail. This guy will not pass a mental competency. We know he's crazy. He's nuts. Just look at him. Right? This guy's nuts, and yet we allow him to roam our streets. Why is that? Well, this is what progress looks like, ladies and gentlemen. This is Seattle progress. A woman loses her eye at age 75. She gets through crazy stuff in her life and gets her eye taken out on a public street in downtown Seattle. And then when people ask me, Sean, do you think the streets of Seattle are safe to walk around during the day if we come and visit? I'm like, kinda. I mean, head on a swivel, folks. Seriously. This is downtown. This is not the greatest area of downtown Seattle. This is also not the very worst either, right? So come visit for a day or a lifetime. It's going to be great. Going to be great.
He can't believe 𝗪𝗏 was out on the streets after all those attacks from the past.
This is not the first assault. Like, he has assaulted before. So why the hell will anyone that is assaulting random people is going to be left on the street? It's like that.
Because that is the progressive left's justice policy. Here is video in part talking about Mayor Bruce Harrell wanting to understand what's going on behind the scenes of these whacked out criminals in Seattle. He wants to get into their head. He wants to have an understanding of why somebody would walk around with a stick and take an eye out of a woman walking around downtown Seattle. That's his solution. Not arrest them and incarcerate them, not put them away, not put them in prison. Get to know them a little bit better. Here it is. Here's that story.
Mayor Harrell's comments over one issue has gone viral. It stems from Thursday night's debate presented by Fox 13. Both Harrell and challenger Katie Wilson were asked about the issue of repeat offenders. A short clip of Harrell's comments have been heard across the country. So today we wanted to elaborate more on what he said, but also go into Wilson's response.
When this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry.
That is just a snippet of a long answer.
Maybe they were abused as a child. So then it's okay for them to take a stick with a piece of metal through it and blind a 75-year-old woman. That is literally what he is saying. It's okay. Maybe he was just looking for a sandwich. And while he's out looking for a sandwich, takes a stick, whacks this woman in the head, blinds her. Mayor Bruce Harrell doesn't want to incarcerate him. He wants to get to know him and hear his story. I mean, it's so ludicrous. It's so far beyond reality that, it's just absolute. It's mental. It's mental. This is a mental issue. I think I can get to know him and then we'll figure it out. This was one of those things. This is kind of one of those behind the scenes pieces here. Violent felon arrested for attacking elderly woman. Video captured by Real-Time Crime Center. This is where having more footage is better than not. This is where Let's Go Brandon Johnson in Chicago was so wrong when he took down the shot spotter technology, because he's another progressive that just wants people to run around and be able to shoot each other. If it's important to them that day to get a big stick with a bolt through it, take out somebody's eye, then that's what you do. And you're okay with that because you've basically told judges, oh yeah, this guy's mental. He's a trans. He's homeless. He's on drugs. This guy is golden. We want this guy to walk around our streets forever. He's going to be doing a little bit of time in a mental institution, isn't he? And that's where he should stay. That's where he should stay till he takes out some orderly's eye, right? Deputies in the King County Sheriff's Office and Seattle police officers arrested a 42-year-old. They called him a man here. They called him a man. For violently attacking an elderly woman in downtown just before 12 p.m. It's not even new. Numerous citizens reported seeing a man swinging a wooden stick with a metal screw at the end of it along 3rd and James Street. Moments later, the man approached a woman waiting at the crosswalk, 3rd and James, swung the stick like a baseball bat, intentionally striking the woman in the face from behind. Victim fell backwards onto the ground with a laceration that was bleeding heavily. Well, when you take somebody's eye out, that tends to happen, right? Horrific. Multiple bystanders called to her aid and called 911 while the suspect walked off. At this time, an analyst in the Real-Time Crime Center got eyes on the suspect, informing officers of his location. Within 5 minutes of the assault, nearby King County Sheriff's Office deputies found the suspect and detained him without incident. Deputies transferred the subject to Seattle police custody. After reviewing the closed circuit footage of the attack, they arrested him. Seattle Fire Department treated the 75-year-old woman for serious facial injuries. Paramedics transported her to Harborview Medical Center, where she underwent emergency surgery, at least 2 that I know of. She's probably got a handful more. You know how they go in and they patch you back up, the very, worst of the worst stuff that they got to redo, and then they come back later and do some of the cosmetics. Yeah, I would say what's wrong with people, but what is wrong with Seattle is progressive leadership. You got a bunch of Democrats running around who are like, let all the criminals go. The greatest thing ever. The suspect has a violent person caution. This is literally, they might as well be wearing a big yellow hat that says, I'm an offender, right? They've got violent person caution tagged on their ID and is a previously convicted felon for assault. Officers booked him into King County Jail for assault in the first degree, $1 million bond, $1 million bail. This guy's just walking around with all his crap in a big bag, and he's got this absolute weapon, just a crazy weapon. This is what we're doing in Seattle. This is literally what we're doing in Seattle. It's absolute insanity. But you know what most people in Seattle do? Wasn't me. It wasn't me. Odds of that happening are slim to none. Be walking around downtown Seattle. He won't hit me. He's going to hit a woman instead. He's going to take on somebody smaller. You notice he didn't take down a big dude, right? Big dude would fight back. Big dude might, but in fairness, he swung from behind on that poor woman. She didn't even know it was coming, right? She's just standing, minding her own business, got some food. She's probably hungry, probably thinking, it's going to be some good food today. I think I smell some good food. Next thing she's just bleeding out. She's getting in an ambulance. She's been taken to the hospital. Yeah, they're trying to stem the bleeding, put her eyeball back in place, see if it'll go again. All kinds of just stuff going on. Maybe put the eyeball on ice. We don't know, right? We don't know. Absolute insanity on the streets of Seattle because this guy should be locked up already. He should be put behind bars. But Bruce Harrell, he wants to get to know this guy's story. This is exactly who Bruce Harrell was talking about. This is exactly where the ideology fails. But you want to get to know him because, maybe he was hungry, but he just took out that 75-year-old woman's eyeball. So you got to commit to one or the other. I would commit to a relentless pursuit of the law. Right? None of this namby-pamby nonsense. We just don't need it. It's just it's crazy talk. You're going to call that guy a woman. Nah, we're not doing that. That's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. Just like allowing this guy to just roam around with a stick and hit people in the head. Crazy. There's going to be more on this story. And there's going to be more individuals like this because our judicial system in Seattle and Washington State, this is what you get when you pay for this kind of thing. And Washington State citizens, this is who you elected into office to allow to commit these kinds of crimes. You're okay with this. You're implicit in this deal. You are responsible for this as much as the crazy guy is walking around whacking people. Right? There's accountability. At some point in time, you're going to have to take that accountability one way or the other. And I'll podcast it. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again for being here. Bye for now.